Peace. Hi, everyone. Karla here with Cacao with Karla, episode number 6. Just do want to apologize for being almost half an hour late, but I had something that came to me where I was like, wait, there's something I specifically want to share with y'all, so that instead of just talking about shadow work, instead of just talking about integration and cacao and all of the cool things that, happen, I could just give you a tool that you can use like right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the comments right here. So if you're watching live, it's in the comments right there. If you're watching later, it'll be the first comment at the top. So the number one tool that I use for shadow work, and notice I'm using the word shadow work and not integration, because this is the initial work that you have to do before you get to the integration part, is something that I call the secret fear inventory. The secret fear inventory. Yeah. So what is a secret fear inventory? So secret fear inventory is a journaling practice that I advise that you do every day for 2 weeks to see results. Why 2 weeks? So for me, I've been using this practice for about the last 4.5 years. Yeah, 4 years, to do everything from to manifesting a free car, to ending up attracting a relationship where I got my rent paid for almost a year. It manifested all of these things. And before I got to all of that, I knew that there were parts of my, emotional baggage, like trauma and all that other stuff, that I wasn't able to fully dive into, because to think about your fears consciously is a really scary thing. Like, our bodies, our nervous systems, our brains are not wired to, it's wired to like worry about things, but to really go in and like consciously be like, hey, I'm gonna look at the things that are holding me back. I'm gonna look at the fears, the beliefs, all of those things that are keeping me weighted down. So even though I'm using my affirmations, I'm trying to manifest these things over here, I keep getting pulled back in the opposite direction. I keep, maybe you find yourself sabotaging things that you're trying to do, or you're just finding yourself not able to even focus on the thing that you want, and kind of stuttering over yourself when you find yourself in close proximity to it. These are things that I still work on myself. So I will be the first person to admit that, self-sabotage is a real thing, and that imposter syndrome, all these other things can still continue no matter how far along you get in your journey, at least the place where I am now. So with all of that said, this specific secret fear inventory, this specific journaling exercise is really great, because it helps you get down into like what you think, what's holding you back, and what you think your fears are, and like getting underneath and seeing what's underneath the covers of all of that. And it starts to bring all of that up, so you can bring your I just said bring like a bajillion times. Anyway, so you can bring your awareness, your love, your compassion to these fears, all these little thoughts, all of these, there's so many thoughts that the human mind has that kind of end in like, oh, this will happen and then you'll die. Well, like, you'll show up to work late and then somehow it ends up with you dying. Or, you put yourself out there, you're sharing your gifts with the world, and then, but if you do that, then you'll die. And like, just so kind of, it goes like, this secret fear inventory just kind of goes straight into all of that. So I have the instructions again at that link there, but to generally tell you about the exercise and also how I use it, how it's structured. So the very first top part, you'll write a specific prompt. So you'll, address it to God, the universe, higher self, ancestors, integrated self, whatever it is that you consider the higher power. And you write the opposite, almost, of like what you want. Like, I secretly resist, making $1 million this year. So you can like use that for an example. And then you send a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. and you write this specific sentence stem over and over again, because I secretly fear that I'm not good enough, because I secretly fear that I'll do this and everybody's going to come, you know, to me with their hand out, because I secretly fear that I'll lose it, because I secretly fear that, you know, the tax man is going to come and throw me in jail because I'm not going to do my taxes right. You know, you're just going to list all of those things for 10 to 15 minutes and just keep writing, even if it's gibberish. So if you want an example of what that looks like, also the article that I wrote maybe maybe 2 or 3 months ago called Dear White Women, I'm Sorry, that letter, that public shadow integration letter that I published was originally a secret fear inventory that I did on like why I was afraid to step into my powers and to share things with people on the internet that I don't know. I found that one of my secret fears was that I didn't think that people would take me seriously because I wasn't white. And so then I like got deeper into that, and you know, so I meditated on like why I had certain fears around certain things, and I found these jealousies, these fears, all of this just like cascading effect and like iceberg, you know, like this is what I thought my issue was, and this is like all these other beliefs underneath it. I found all of this other stuff around, let's see, what are the few ones? That I was just, you know, I had jealousy towards certain people, that I didn't think that people would take me seriously, that I fake, you know, it like just cascaded into like my love life and all of these other things, and basically, you know, death. So, because that's where all of our anxiety fears go, it's always about death. But, it's one of my favorite games to play. It's like the worst case scenario game. And like when I find myself obsessing over something over and over again, it's like, wait, okay, so if this were to actually happen, and you know, I just like let myself play out that train of thought until I get to the part where I die, and then by that time I'm like rolling on the floor and laughing. So that's not necessarily everybody's cup of tea, or where you might start off with playing that game or even doing this exercise. It is can be very, very confronting, very charged. And for all the people that I have led this exercise for, and also like private clients, they have found so much freedom on the other side of it. Healing body dysmorphia, being able to manifest certain relationships and interactions with people, being able to have something that used to be triggering be something that they're not triggered by anymore. Sometimes they even find, you know, the humor in it, as well as the lesson and the gift in the lesson and all of that. So I just wanted to share that here with you this week. I'll be coming to you every week with new tips and things about cacao, shadow work, all the things that I find really helpful and that my clients have found helpful with on their spiritual journeys and on their self-development, personal development, humaning, spiritual paths. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or to send me a private message. And let's see, I don't see any questions here, so I go ahead and just end the video here. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe so you can get more of these videos in the future. All right, loves, peace.